The judge gave my ex-wife the house. The kids chose to stay with her. And at 50 years old, I sat alone inside a cheap apartment eating microwave noodles while staring at divorce papers that basically erased my entire life. Then 3 months later, I collapsed face first in a grocery store parking lot. And while I was laying in a hospital bed thinking everything was over, I got a DNA match notification from someone I had never heard of before. One message changed everything. I think you're my biological father. My name's Daniel Mercer. I'm 50 years old, worked 28 years driving delivery trucks across Ohio, and until 2 years ago, I thought I understood my life completely. Husband. Father. Provider. Normal American guy. But here's the truth nobody warns men about. Sometimes your entire identity gets built around people who can leave without looking back. And when they do, you realize you never actually learned who you were. This story isn't just about divorce. It's about betrayal, loneliness, fatherhood, hidden family secrets, and the moment I realized losing everything actually saved my life. Point 1 to 1 o'clock to 8 o'clock, the divorce that destroyed me quietly. People think divorce happens during one big dramatic moment. It doesn't. Most marriages die slowly. Quietly. Like a house rotting from the inside while everything still looks normal outside. That was us. Me and my ex-wife Karen were married 23 years. 2 kids. Mortgage. Camping trips. Christmas photos. All the regular American family stuff. From the outside we looked solid. Inside. We stopped being partners years earlier. And honestly, I didn't notice how bad things got because I was always working. That's the trap a lot of men fall into. You think providing financially automatically means you're succeeding emotionally. It doesn't. I drove long-haul delivery routes 6 days a week. Early mornings. Late nights. Back pain. Fast food dinners eaten inside truck stops. Meanwhile, Karen slowly built an entire emotional life without me. And by the time I realized it, I was already replaceable. Now here's where things started falling apart fast. One Friday night I came home early after a cancelled route. House was quiet. Too quiet. Karen was sitting at the kitchen table holding papers. You ever walk into a room and instantly know your life's about to split in half? That feeling. Then she said the sentence every married man fears hearing. I'm not happy anymore. Simple sentence. Nuclear impact. I remember laughing awkwardly at first because honestly, my brain refused to process it. 23 years together, and suddenly we were strangers. Didn't make sense. Then she kept talking. We've grown apart. You were never emotionally available. I need more from life. And maybe the worst part. Some of it was true. That's what hurts about divorce sometimes. Nobody's completely innocent. But here's where things became brutal. 3 months later she officially filed. And suddenly marriage stopped feeling emotional and started feeling transactional. Lawyers. Assets. Schedules. Custody discussions. You know what nobody prepares men for. How fast your home stops feeling like yours during divorce. One day it's your kitchen. Next day somebody's discussing who keeps the toaster like it's a business merger. Cold. Emotionally cold. Now let me be honest about something difficult. My kids choosing to stay primarily with Karen broke me more than losing the house. Especially my son Tyler. We used to be close when he was younger. Fishing trips. Basketball games. Road trip snacks at gas stations. Then teenage years happened. Distance grew. And during the divorce, Karen controlled the emotional narrative inside the house because she was physically there more. That matters. Presence matters. One night Tyler looked me straight in the eyes and said, "You were never around anyway." That sentence nearly destroyed me. Because in my mind, I was sacrificing for my family. Meanwhile they experienced it as absence. That realization crushed me emotionally. And honestly, a lot of working-class American dads understand this pain deeply. You work yourself half to death trying to provide stability. Then one day realize your family mostly remembers you being gone. Now financially things got ugly too. Karen got the house. Most savings disappeared. Child support started immediately. And suddenly at 50 years old, I was renting a tiny apartment above a pawn shop. No joke. Every night I heard arguments through thin walls and motorcycles outside at 2 a.m. I went from backyard barbecues to folding laundry beside my microwave. That emotional drop changes a man. You stop feeling respected. You stop feeling needed. And slowly, you stop recognizing yourself. But the darkest part hadn't even happened yet. Because loneliness doesn't hit immediately after divorce. At first there's chaos. Paperwork. Stress. Distractions. The real loneliness comes later. When silence becomes routine. Point 2 to 8 o'clock to 1500 hours. The collapse nobody saw coming. You wanna know something scary? Middle-aged men fall apart quietly. No dramatic social media posts. No emotional speeches. We just slowly disappear inside ourselves. That was me after the divorce. Work. Sleep. Microwave dinners. Repeat. Days blur together. And because men aren't taught how to process emotional loss properly, I buried everything under routine. But your body keeps score eventually. Mine definitely did. I stopped sleeping normally. Started eating garbage. Blood pressure through the roof. Still ignored it. Because honestly, part of me didn't care anymore. That's the dangerous stage after major life collapse. Not sadness. Numbness. Numbness ruins people. One night I sat alone eating takeout Chinese food straight from the container and realized nobody had called me in 4 days. Not one person. That moment hit hard. Because loneliness after divorce feels humiliating. Especially for men. People assume women struggle emotionally more after separation. Not always. A lot of divorced men lose their entire emotional support system overnight. Friends disappear. Kids get busy. Family chooses sides. And suddenly your whole identity evaporates. Now around this time I started noticing chest pain occasionally. Nothing extreme. Just pressure. Tightness. Again, ignored it. Because stubbornness becomes a coping mechanism when life already feels overwhelming. Then came the grocery store parking lot. Random Tuesday afternoon. Rainy weather. Cold wind. I remember carrying 2 grocery bags thinking about absolutely nothing important. Then boom. Sharp pain. My legs literally gave out. Next thing I remember, some woman was yelling, "Sir? Stay with me." Ambulance lights. Cold pavement. People staring. Humiliating. That's what I remember most. Not fear. Embarrassment. Funny how men are conditioned to feel ashamed even while collapsing physically. Hospital tests showed severe exhaustion, stress-related heart issues, dehydration, and dangerously high blood pressure. Doctor looked at me and said, "You keep living like this, your body will make decisions for you." That sentence stayed with me. Because deep down, I knew he wasn't only talking about health. I was emotionally collapsing too. Now here's where things get strange. Second night in the hospital, I couldn't sleep. Scrolling mindlessly through my phone around 1 a.m. And because loneliness makes people do weird things, I downloaded one of those DNA ancestry apps. No deep reason. Honestly, I think part of me just wanted connection somewhere. Anywhere. You know how divorced people start searching emotionally after losing identity. That was me. So I mailed the DNA kit weeks later and forgot about it completely. Until one night around 3 months later, I got the notification. Close family match found. At first I assumed cousin. Distant relative. Something random. Then I opened the message. "I think you might be my biological father." I actually stopped breathing for a second. Because mathematically, that was impossible. Or at least I thought it was. The Secret from 1989. Her name was Lily Harper. 27 years old. School counselor in Arizona. And according to the DNA results, she was unquestionably my daughter. I stared at my phone for almost an hour. Confused. Terrified. Trying to remember every relationship from decades earlier. Then suddenly one memory came rushing back hard. 1989. I was 22 years old working construction in Phoenix temporarily. Young. Broke. Directionless. And during that summer, I dated a woman named Rebecca for maybe 3 months. Smart. Funny. Wild laugh. We weren't deeply serious. Just young. Then my job ended suddenly and I moved back to Ohio. We lost contact completely. That was it. Or at least I thought it was. Until Lily now understands something. At 50 years old, after losing my marriage and kids emotionally, finding out I had another daughter felt overwhelming in ways I can't fully explain. Part excitement. Part guilt. Part fear. Mostly fear. Because suddenly I realized an entire human being existed without me knowing. Birthdays missed. School events missed. Life missed. That realization crushed me. I replied carefully. Can we talk? She answered almost immediately. Turns out Lily grew up believing another man was her father until recently. Before her mother died from cancer, she confessed the truth. One old photo. One name. Mine. And for months Lily searched quietly before finally taking a DNA test. You want to know the craziest part? She wasn't angry. Not even close. She said, I don't think you knew. That kindness broke me emotionally. Because honestly, I didn't deserve kindness in that moment. I deserved grief for lost time. Then Lily asked me something simple. What kind of person are you? And man, that question hit hard. Because after divorce, failure, and loneliness, I honestly didn't know anymore. Who was I without being somebody's husband? Somebody's provider? Somebody's routine? That question forced me to confront something painful. I spent decades building roles instead of identity. And millions of Americans do the same thing. Especially men. We become worker, dad, husband. But remove those titles, and suddenly we feel empty. Now over the next few weeks, Lily and I talked constantly. Phone calls. Messages. Photos. And slowly something unexpected started happening. I started feeling alive again. Not because life magically fixed itself. Because somebody wanted to know me. That changes people. Especially lonely people. Lily showed me pictures of her childhood. Her college graduation. Her tiny apartment filled with plants. And every image felt bittersweet. I kept imagining all the years I missed. Then came the sentence that shattered me emotionally. You laugh exactly like me. I cried after that call. First time in years. Because suddenly connection returned to my life from a place I never expected. But here's where things get complicated. Karen found out. And the second she did, everything changed between me and my kids again. Solutions/insight. 2200 hours to 28:30. The truth that saved my life. When Tyler heard about Lily, he called me for the first time in months. Not warmly either. Accusatory. You replaced us already? That sentence hurt deeply because I understood where it came from. Kids interpret pain emotionally, not logically. And honestly, part of me worried he was right. Was I emotionally clinging to Lily because I lost my other children? That question haunted me. But over time something important happened. Lily didn't replace anybody. She reminded me who I was before life broke me. Curious. Funny. Hopeful. See, sometimes healing comes through unexpected mirrors. And Lily saw parts of me I'd forgotten existed. Then one day she asked if she could visit Ohio. I was terrified. What if we didn't connect in person? What if expectations ruined everything? But the second I saw her walking through the airport, something inside me settled emotionally. Not magically. Not perfectly. Just deeply. We spent 3 straight days talking. About life. Mistakes. Her mother. my divorce. Everything. And during one conversation, Lily said something that completely changed how I viewed my collapse. If your old life never fell apart, we probably never would have found each other. Boom. There it was. The painful truth. The collapse I thought destroyed my life actually exposed the emptiness I'd ignored for years. Sometimes losing everything false creates room for something real. That doesn't mean pain is good. Divorce hurt. Loneliness hurt. Missing years hurt. But suffering forced honesty. And honesty changed me. I finally apologized sincerely to my kids for emotional absence. Started therapy. Took my health seriously. Stopped measuring worth through money or approval. And slowly, my relationship with Tyler improved too. Not instantly. Real healing takes time. But honesty rebuilds what ego destroys. Now here's the biggest lesson I learned. DNA didn't save my life. Connection did. At 50 years old, I discovered family isn't only about who stayed. Sometimes it's about who finally finds you. If this story hit you emotionally, comment the word "second chance" below. Because life can collapse completely, and still surprise you later. And if you're a father, call your kids. Not tomorrow. Not next week. Today. Because time disappears faster than pride. Subscribe for more emotional true stories, family drama, shocking life twists, and powerful comeback stories that remind us it's never too late to rebuild your life.